On this episode of Laid Back History, we're talking about the Whiskey Rebellion Festival. So I want to welcome you back to another episode of Laid Back History. And as I said, we're going to be talking about the Whiskey Rebellion Festival. Now, before we do that, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I want to thank the Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency, not only for the wonderful t-shirts, but also just for their support over the years of the Historical Society, their support of the Whiskey Rebellion Festival, their support of Laid Back History, and what they're doing with us for the Washington County Research and Education Center, which we should be breaking ground on in just a few weeks. So we're real excited about that. So keep an eye out across the road from the Lemoyne House and see all the stuff that we've got going on. But today, we're going to talk about the Whiskey Rebellion Festival. We are so excited. The Bradford House, the Historical Society, all the history groups, history organizations, the Whiskey Rebellion Festival Committee are just thrilled to be able to bring the festival back, after a brief pause last year, we'll put it that way. Unfortunately, with things going on with COVID and the pandemic, we weren't able to do it. But we are excited as heck to have it back this year. We've got some great activities going on. Unfortunately, there's some things like the parade that we're not going to have. When we first started planning this thing, we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, we started in February, and so we didn't know what restrictions were going to be. And so it wasn't until May that we really knew what was going on. And if you've ever tried to plan an event, plan a parade, you just can't pull it off that quick. So unfortunately, that is one thing that we had to get rid of. But there are so many great activities that are going on. It is truly going to be the Whiskey Rebellion Festival. This is not a watered down version. This is going to be a great day. We're really excited about it. And so I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about it and maybe look at the history of the Whiskey Rebellion Festival real quick, and then tell you about what's going on. And the one thing is that I am not live. This is recorded. So I will be watching with you guys. So if you have any questions while we're going on, put them down in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer all of them. I try my best to answer all comments or respond to all comments every episode. But this time, definitely, we'll go ahead and respond. If you've got any questions about anything, put it in the comment section, and we'll get moving. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe below. We really appreciate that. If you're on Facebook, please share this. The more people you share it to, the more we can get out there about what we're doing here in this region when it comes to history. So let's look at the history of the Whiskey Rebellion Festival. And it kind of goes back a lot longer than maybe what you may think. We're celebrating the 11th. I think 2019 was the 10th anniversary of the festival. I think something like that. Yeah, something like that. It started though back around 2006, 2007. And myself and a board member at the Bradford House, when I was still the director over at the Bradford House, or the historical director at the Bradford House, myself and this board member, Kathleen Mitchell, who, if you've done any acting or in this region for a period of time, you've known Kathleen. She did costuming all over the area for schools, for reenactors. She made all kind of stuff. She kind of retired from that. Wow, it seems like maybe it's been as much as 10 years ago. I don't know. Wow. But she kind of retired from that, but you probably know her. And we had this idea of something called the Rebel Fair. Whiskey Rebels, but we were going to do it. We had this idea of doing the Rebel Fair would be all rebels. So maybe we're including, it would include Whiskey Rebellion. It might include Civil War. Anything where you kind of see like a rebellion or uprising, the Westovania movement. So it was going to be a little wide ranging. And so we started that in 2000, I think it was 2007. We started that, and it was just behind the Bradford House, in the garden in the parking lot behind the Bradford House. And we would have we had reenactors, we had cooking demonstrations, it was before the cabin, so we were just doing open pit cooking, like camp cooking. We had reenactors, we had all kind of stuff going on back there, and it was a lot of fun. You know, we'd have 300-400 people, you know, maybe the first year, up to, you know, 500 or so, you know, the last year that we did the Rebel Fair. Well, we had a great time with it. As part of that, we did the Bradford's Escape reenactment, where we reenacted Bradford's escape when the federal militia got to Washington to capture him at the end of the Whiskey Rebellion. And so that was kind of the beginnings of our Rebel Fair and the reenactment. Now, they had been doing the Bradford's Escape reenactment for years and years before that. That was nothing that I came up with, or, you know, they'd been doing it, but we incorporated it into this Rebel Fair. Well, in 2010, Washington was celebrating its bicentennial. I remember I remember when we were doing the bicentennial, I forget who it was, saying that we were getting ready to celebrate our 200th bicentennial. Like, holy cow, we've been around for a long time. But we were celebrating our bicentennial, and they wanted to incorporate, as part of that, history. You know, we have such a rich history in this town, and they wanted to incorporate that into it. So I think it was the Saturday, there was like a week-long celebration of the bicentennial, and I think it was the Saturday of the bicentennial that they came to the Bradford House, and, you know, they looked at what we were doing for the Rebel Fair and asked us to be involved. Trip Klein, who was I think he might have been the board president at the time. If not, he was at least on the board at the Bradford House, got involved with it. The Historical Society got involved with it. We became the sponsor. The Historical Society became the sponsor of the history portion of it. And we put on this huge Saturday activity. We had reenactors. We had this great guy that did Civil War medicine, and he actually did an amputation. But we had all periods of history that we did, and it was so much fun, and people came out and they loved it, and they thought it was just the best thing, and it was unlike anything that Washington had at the time. And so the following year, after that went off in 2010, you know, there was a call to continue having some sort of history event. And so we got, you know, the Bradford House got involved with it. The Historical Society was involved in several other things. And so the Bradford House got involved with it and decided that we could do something. And it would be called the Whiskey Rebellion Festival. Because the Whiskey Rebellion, although not unique to this area, to the town, this was one of the hotbeds of it. And so we thought, you know, this could be something very unique that we could do, call it the Whiskey Rebellion Festival, and really capitalize on the uniqueness of our history. And so that went off in 2011, and it was, you know, we had everything in town. The Lemoyne House Garden, where, you know, Madeline's Garden where I am, was used, but we had most stuff right on Main Street. We did a duel on Main Street. That's when we first started incorporating the street theater. We had a battle. We had reenactors all get together. We had a battle on Main Street, and we did, you know, we had a really good time with that. We did our tar and feathering the first time that we did that, and it was at the end of the parade. No one really expected it. We didn't tell anybody we were going to do it, and so we just did it. And Trip Klein's volunteered to let us do that to him, so we just did it. And people were like, "What is going on here?" And it was so much fun. And so all of a sudden, you know, we had great music and, you know, bluegrass music all day, and that was a huge success. And we knew we had something. And so we started drawing in more history groups. The Historical Society, you know, I was able to get them more involved in it, you know, luckily. And so we started, you know, we brought in the fort site, you know, Schneider's Fort out in Washington Park. And we had kids activities in the garden. We had this, you know, big area, this footprint that it expanded to. And it really just took off. And, you know, we had the support of the County Tourism Promotion Agency and so many different sponsors that really allowed this thing to keep growing and getting bigger. And it evolved to, you know, street theater, you know, us bringing in actors to portray the parts of David Bradford and John Holcroft and Elizabeth Bradford and you know, some of these real Alexander Hamilton and Edmund Randolph, these important figures of the Whiskey Rebellion. we got them involved. And started making this a production. A good friend of mine, Brant Garda, teamed up with me, and we started writing scripts. The first couple of years of the Whiskey Rebellion Festival, everything was ad-libbed. Everything you saw was just ad-libbed, and we had no microphones, we had no mics. So we were on the streets just screaming so we could have the 1,000 people that were watching hear us. I mean, at the end of the day, I was hoarse. I couldn't even talk. But things evolve, and we got microphones, and we had speakers, and now all of a sudden we could do acting, and we have this great street theater that's going on, and we got bigger and better bands, and all this wonderful music and demonstrators and kids activities, and more organizations. We had the history groups. We'd have 30 history groups that were involved, and vendors, and it really just has grown into this a keystone event, an event that is looked forward to every year, an event that symbolizes Washington, and that people are traveling to. We have people that travel from Buffalo, Cleveland, all over the eastern United States coming in to come to the Whiskey Rebellion Festival. And we're really proud of what we've all been able to do, and the work of the Whiskey Rebellion Festival Committee, and the chairs of that, for a long time, Trip Klein, and now you've got Joe Pizar and Joe DeThomas and Kathy Sable, involved with it as the chairs of it. But our committee, I mean, we've got 15, 20 people on the committee that work hard. The Bradford House and the Historical Society, throw their weight behind it. And we've got sponsors that help make it happen. In fact, I'm gonna, up on the screen right now, you'll see our sponsors for this year. But all through the years, the hard work and the dedication and the support from the community has allowed us to have it. Unfortunately, last year, we had to cancel it, and we were all really sad about that. We had, a lot of people that were disappointed that we had to, but unfortunately, we just weren't able to have it. And so we knew coming into 2021, we wanted to at least try to have the festival. We weren't sure where we were going to be, so the committee made the decision to start planning it and seeing what we could do. Because of some restrictions, we decided to condense it a little bit. And so the activities are going to be condensed to downtown Washington, and not using the Frontier History Center this year. So there's some things that aren't going to be here that are normally here, but it's 1 year. Next year we're going to be back. Things should be back to normal, fully back to normal, and we're going to be back, and we're going to have the full festival, the fort, in town, all our vendors, everything. It's all going to be happening again. But we didn't want to miss 2 years. We wanted to give people what they wanted. We had people clamoring for the festival. And when we announced we were going to have it, I was just amazed by how many people sent messages on Facebook or email and said, thank you for having this festival. We're so excited about it. And so excitement's building up, and we've got a lot that's going to be going on, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen with it. And we can't wait to see, the turnout, and have people back in town and seeing how amazing this history is and how what the town is like. And so what I want to talk about, we've kind of covered the history of it. What's going on this year? Well, we've got some absolutely amazing activities that are going to be taking place. And so where I am right now in Madeline's Garden here at the Lemoyne House, this is going to be kind of ground zero for the history of the festival. We're going to have our reenactors here. We're going to have our street theater. We're going to have we're going to have some music in here as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it over to Joe. He's with Rich Baker to tell you a little bit about what we've got going on for the history.
Hey, thanks, Clay. It's Joe Pizar here with the Whiskey Rebellion Festival, whiskeyrebellionfestival.com. We're here at the Canonsburg 4th of July Parade, the much anticipated Canonsburg 4th of July Parade. And I'm here with some of our fellow reenactors getting ready to help the parade out with some celebratory firing of the flintlocks, as we say. So, Rich, what are we in store for today here at the 4th of July Parade, and what can we expect next weekend on the 10th for the Whiskey Rebellion Festival?
Well, first off, we're glad to finally be back down here after the COVID situation last year. It's nice to be back at the parade. So as Joe said, we're going to be here promoting the Rebellion. Y'all need to come out and see the Rebellion. We've got some great stuff going on this year. Madeline's Garden, We will have a bunch of displays of period accoutrements, weapons, knives, cooking gear. So come on down and see us. We got a lot for you to look at and a lot to check out.
Now, in between those, we're going to be having some theatrical performances by our Whiskey Rebellion Street Theater, as well as all of our bands from up top will be playing on that stage. So you'll have music, you'll have history, you'll have theater, all in that Madeline's Garden area. So we're all real excited about it. You guys have put an exceptional amount of work into that, Rich, and all the reenactors, the theater folks, Clay and Brant organized and all that. But guys, we're super. Are you guys getting excited? Because
They look excited. They look excited.
So that just sounds like a great day. I mean, just imagine coming here, on next Saturday or this coming Saturday and having all these historical figures you're going to get to meet, Alexander Hamilton and David Bradford and John Holcroft, and see them come to life, on our stage down here that in our garden, in Madeline's Garden. And then all the history groups and demonstrators and some historic vendors that are going to be here at the garden here. We're just excited about it. Now, the street theater has become a very popular thing, and so I wanted to go through the schedule for that. So if you're interested in coming for the street theater at noon, so 12 o'clock, we're going to kick things off on the pavilion up on Main Street. So on the main stage, we're going to have a scene called Tax Fiction. So that's at noon on the main stage. So maybe get to see what an interaction between Alexander Hamilton and David Bradford would be like. At 1 o'clock, here in the Lemoyne House Garden on our stage, we've got Inglorious Rebels. So get to meet some of our rebels and see what their gripes about the excise tax are. 2 o'clock, we're going to have Life in the Federal Army. So Wayne's 4th Sublegion, the Federals here that day will be talking about what it was like to be in the Federal Army and do a shooting demonstration as well. At 3 o'clock, we've got Once Upon a Time in Philadelphia. And so you're going to get to see a United States Marshal and giving his report to Alexander Hamilton about what's going on here in the Western frontier during the rebellion and what the reaction Hamilton has and what he's going to do about it. And then at 4 o'clock, we've got Holcroft Unchained. The Federals are in town. How's John Holcroft going to react to that? So we'll get to see what's going on. And then at 5 o'clock, so 12 o'clock at the main stage, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are here on our stage at Madeline's Garden. At 5, we have got what we're calling High Proof, a toast to the Whiskey Rebels. Down at Liberty Pole Spirits, right on West Maiden Street, not too far from Town Hall, we're going to be doing a toast to the Whiskey Rebels. So you can come down and see that. And so all day though, we've got Wayne's 4th Sublegion that's going to be here, the 8th PA Regiment. We have 18th century weapons display. James Blake, who you've seen right here on Laid Back History, is going to be live in our garden, telling us some history about about Native Americans, American Indians. He keeps correcting me about American Indians, and some of his reproductions, things that he has done, he's going to have display. So if you've seen James and you're a fan of him, you get to meet him on the 10th right here in our garden. For the 18th century weapons display, Rich Baker, who you've also seen multiple times here on Laid Back History, he's going to be here as well. So you can meet Rich. Maybe he'll give you an autograph. Who knows? He can be grumpy sometimes, but we'll see. But so we've got 18th century camp cooking demonstrations, spinning and weaving demonstrations from Applegate School of Needlepoint. Brenda, I'm sorry if you're watching this and I got that wrong, but Brenda Applegate, the Beaver County Historical Society, they'll be set up down here demonstrating. And then, we've got period sutlers, vendors, and other demonstrators that you're going to see throughout the garden. So I'm really excited about it. Another thing that we've got is, the other big thing that we have is of course, the music. Our music, Lee Stivers puts it all together for us. She does an amazing job pulling it together And so, we've got some great bands. We've got at 12:30 on the main stage, Snappin' Bug String Band. At 1:45, this is all on the main stage, we've got Robin and Bob. At 3 o'clock, the Glass Run Road. At 4:15, the Devilish Mary. At 6 o'clock, Robin and Bob are going to be back. And then at 7 o'clock, we've got the Sweaty Already String Band. And then at 8:30, we've got our Jacobs Ferry Stragglers. So I'm excited to have them, local band, absolutely amazing. I mean, this whole list, they're incredible. And so we've got, we're really excited to see these bands. And then luckily for us, again, here at the Lemoyne House Garden, if you want to hear a band again, if you see them up there, you want to see them before they play up there, we've got at 1:15, Devilish Mary. At 2:15, Sweaty Already String Band. At 3:15, Snappin' Bug String Band. And at 4:15, Glass Run Road. And then, after all the history ends at 5:30, join us back up at the main stage where we'll have, our three wonderful bands starting at 6 o'clock to round out our festival and give us a great send-off with some incredible music. I was very honored this year to be asked to MC that portion of it. So you can see me down here during the day doing a lot of the street theater and history. Then at 6 o'clock, I get to be back up on the main stage to MC the event. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great day. And, what's really nice about this event is we do have something for everybody. We have a kids area that, kids can really enjoy. So parents, bring your kids, get them in the history young. And I'm going to throw it over to Joe and Denise Cummings to tell us a little bit about the kids area.
Hey everybody, Joe Pizar here with the Whiskey Rebellion, whiskeyrebellionfestival.com. I'm here with Denise Cummings. She's been running our children's area for the festival for well over 10 years now. And we're here in the beautiful Bradford House Garden where the children's area will be this year. So Denise, we have a lot going on for the kids area on July 10th.
We do.
What are you most excited about, and what should people expect when they come to the children's area in the garden of the David Bradford House?
There's lots of hands-on activities for the kids. We try to immerse them in 18th century frontier lifestyle. So, of course, children in that era were expected to do chores, and we have some samples of those that they can try. And
hopefully that'll parallel to going home, and then they'll do chores there.
We can only hope.
That's what we're hoping for.
And then we have some classroom activities, including writing with a quill pen, and this year the kids will get to keep the quill pen. As a souvenir of the day. We will have some live farm animals with knowledgeable people to tell them about those. And we do have games because once the children finished their chores, they were permitted to play. So there's something here for kids of all ages, from the littlest ones up through elementary school age, that I think that they will enjoy.
All right, so just more fun activities. I mean, there's history, there's demonstrator, there's music, there's fun for kids. We've got a little bit of everything here, and we're so excited. So don't think just because it's a smaller footprint than normal that there's not going to be the same energy, the same history, the same music, and the same fun. It is all here on the 10th. That's our history day, but it kicks off. It all kicks off on Friday. On Friday, we've got the Washington Symphony playing in our main pavilion. That is always, I think we used to have them kick it off on Thursday, but they're going to do Friday tonight. This year, they're going to headline it, starting out Friday to get us off on the right foot, and then join us Saturday for history, for food. I forgot about the food. There's all kind of food trucks that are going to be here too. I mean, that's one of the great things about the festival is the great food that we have, and I almost forgot about them. So we've got incredible food. We've got history. We've got street theater. We've got period vendors, period sutlers. We've got kids activities, and we've got amazing music all day, both on the main stage and here at the garden at the Lemoyne House, with kids activities behind the Bradford House in their beautiful garden. Some great stuff. I think they're going to have some animals back there, like a petting zoo for the kids activities, I think they said. So just come out, come out I think people have been looking for something to do. They've been locked up for a year. Let's get out. Let's celebrate the region's history, and really let's just enjoy each other's company. You know, no drama. You know, we can put that away. You know, the drama of the past year with everything going on. Let's put that aside. Let's come out and just enjoy this region's history and enjoy what the downtown of Washington has to offer. So I'm just excited. You know, I missed it last year. I really missed it. And I'm excited to be back. And I'm excited to see everybody here. I've missed talking to people. I've missed seeing people. And I may be running around like crazy during the festival. But please, you know, don't be afraid. Come up, say hi. Tell me you watch Laid Back History. I want to talk to you guys. I want to see. I want to know who's watching. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you want to see on Laid Back History. I want to know what you want to see for history here in downtown Washington, because folks, it's coming. We are building up so quick with the Lemoyne House, you know, behind me, the David Bradford House, the Whiskey Rebellion Center that just opened up this year, across from the Bradford House. And in spring of 2022, the opening of our new Research and Education Center, and then probably about a year after that, the breaking ground of the construction of our new museum, our new Washington County and National Road Heritage Museum. It's happening. This town is coming. You know, you can thank the Historical Society, the Bradford House for all the history, the County Tourism, Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency, the Washington Business District Authority, the National Heritage Corridor. We're working hard. You know, all the other museums, the Trolley Museum, Meadowcroft, Duncan Miller Museum. You know, we're working hard to revitalize this area and bring it as a tourist stop. You know, where people are going to want to go and see what we have. Well, we're highlighting that on Saturday. So come Saturday, see what we've got, talk to all the history groups, support them, you know, support the history in this region, and let's build it up together. Let's forget about the drama of the last year, and let's just get together and have a good time. So, yeah. So I will see you on Saturday. I'll see you next week for another episode of Laid Back History, but I'm going to see you Saturday for another edition of the Whiskey Rebellion Festival.
Still these spring red blood blues. When the red blood blues, the red blood blues. Oh, yes, still these spring red blood blues.